All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. This is my campaign talk for the 13th, Friday the 13th of July 2018. The message that I want to bring to you today has to do with America and other countries that seem to be progressing. It was said at one time that America was one of the most progressive states, one of the most liberal states, one of the most religious states, and one of the most humbling states of the universe. Well, we can't say that about America now. America has gotten to a point where it either had to go forward or back up. So what it did, rather than go forward, they decided to back up. See, to go forward, they had to pull off some institutional prejudices like racism, institutional prejudices like elitists, institutional prejudices like whites, just to name a few. They couldn't do that. So they allowed with denial and their inability to accomplish going over that hurdle to cause them to roll back down the slope with someone like Donald Trump. And at the same time, there are other progressives like China. China supposedly has one of the largest populations on the face of the earth. They've come from you know where to going to you know where. Well, they are saying that they're going to spend over $1 trillion to uplift this economy, to uplift the infrastructure of the nation, and to make it a polishing glow of light for the rest of the world to see. The same old thing that they used to say about America. However, we as Americans have been blessed. We have seen how this process can stumble if it does not go over the hill. And we see happening in China even today, where they got dissidents and where they got people of other nationalities already, if the news reporting is correct, already in jails trying to change them and their concept and what all they truly are about, to change it to be what China wants it to be. And so we know we've been going through that. And we know that China can go through this phase just like we've gone through the phase. And it will also reach a point, well, it will have to go over the hump or fall back down the hill. And evidence proves that they always fall back down over the hill. Because to go over the hump means you got to put a power bigger than man in charge. That's a power you can't see, a power you can't touch, you can't feel. But all of the evidence is all around you, and you yourselves can represent that. So as I make this statement to you, I'm saying to you who have not really made up your mind, that you can still go over the hump. Even though the nation seems to be tumbling down this hill, you can still strive, you can still pull yourselves up. And that's by being decent again. Being decent. Now, I'm not talking about really decent. I'm talking about caring about all people. And those things that you cannot fix, leave it to God to fix. For instance, abortion. You say what your opinions are. Everybody got a right to live. And you will defend that with every ounce of your being. And yet at the same time, while you're doing that, you are permitting capital punishment. That makes you a hypocrite. Let me say that again. You're standing up against abortion, but standing for capital punishment. That makes you a hypocrite. These are the kinds of things that people experience every day of their lives. Another thing, we say that the LGBT community should not have sanctions of the system. In other words, taxations and other benefits that are available to everybody else that we approve of should not be extended to this group, because this group is in violation of God. Well, I'm sure when Adam woke up one morning and saw Eve, he felt that that was in violation to God. And even more than that, Hello. I'm doing pretty good. Not that I know of. You know something going on special? Oh, I don't know about that, homie. I don't know about that. I had to get back on touch with you on that. Uh, oh yeah, yeah. Well, that'll be smart. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Y'all doing all right? Yeah. I'm I'm just in the process of doing a video. I saw your name, so I figured I better answer the phone. Okay. All right then. Talk to you later. Bye. That's one of my preacher friends who wants to go fishing. It reminds me of the, the man who runs the money, holding the money on the end of the hook and everybody biting at it. But back to what I was saying. And I'm even sure that Adam and Eve woke up one morning and found out that there was a kid coming. They probably talked about that as well. But let me say to you about the LGBT group. We have said, based on our own prejudices, how we felt about it. That doesn't mean that it's right, any more so than it meant that it was right when you called black people less than human. You did it. Now you're trying, after all these years, still walking that tread. And some of you want to change it, others you stuck in that tread. But whether you like it or not, black people are human. LGBT people, they say they didn't learn this from others. Now, they might have been influenced by some of the activities that they saw or what they were exposed to. But for the most part, they say they came here like this. They never knew a time when they were not like this. And how dare any man, any woman, to come up and detest and contest that fact right there? We don't know what the motivation behind that is. We have one obligation, and that obligation is to treat and respect them the same way you want to be treated and respected. That means that every avenue of life survival be available to you and to them. That access to all the extra amenities that comes out of the engagement of ourselves into the process of creation is available to them just as it is to you. Now, I can't see God doing any better than that. Now, if God is upset with these LGBT, like devil created them, something like that, you let God get rid of it. Don't have that monkey on your hand. Don't have that monkey on your hand no more than you had when you was killing the natives. No more than you had when you were turning people into slaves. And I'm not just talking about Americans. It seems that I am because I'm here. But whatever has happened in America has happened all over the earth. And it's still happening. So I'm saying to you, let God be God. That is what it is for me. Now, when I say let God, I'm speaking to you, the American people and the people of the earth. But more specifically, I'm speaking to you as an individual. You don't have to say, well, the United States is not going that way, so I'm going to stick with the United States. To hell with anybody that's going against God. To hell with anybody that's going against God. And the only ones that's going with God are those who are going for love. Going for love. If you're against abortion, make sure that any female that gets pregnant, whatever the obstacles were in the beginning that caused her to want to get an abortion, they do not exist. The only one you cannot eradicate, and that's the parent, the mother's health. It might be in jeopardy. You can't make a decision on that. But making sure that this baby is going to be cared for, you can make a decision on that. Making sure that this baby will have food and housing, you can make a decision on that. That this baby will be clothed and educated and given health care, you can make a decision on that. And there's not but one decision that you can make that's proper, and that is that it is guaranteed to every last one of them. When you do that, you might look at a woman funny if she wants to just have an abortion for no other reason, just that she want to have an abortion. But even that, you can't stop. And when you're doing the things the way they're supposed to be done, how can you try to set aside something and say we're not going to do this because we're supporting it? No, the way you stop supporting activities like that, if a man wants to kiss you, push his butt out of the way. And you don't want it. If a woman wants to kiss you or fondle you and you don't want it, push it out of the way. That's how you defend that. That's how you defend against that. Now, I want to say to our NATO alliances, all those people that we've been together for all of these number of years, protecting one another and standing up for one another. That's a very good thing. It's not the best thing, but it is a very good thing. And we should shake each other's hand and rub each other's back that we've been able to hold on to that for so long. But even that is challenged now because we didn't go over the hill. What is being called for us to do today is either go over the hill or tumble back down the side. I propose that we go over the hill. What I'm basically saying is not only should we protect each other's interests, especially when it comes down to security, but let us respect each other's interests when it comes down to life. Whatever our various governments might be, let us in the name of righteousness, in the name of goodness, in the name of love for ourselves and our people, let us promise the resources of each of our regions, whatever they might be. Let us promise it, guarantee it to each of us within the United Nations, within our community, within our NATO community. Let us promise all of these resources available to one another to meet the needs, the wants, and the desires of our people, not of the elite, not of those who are in government trying to say they want this and want that, but in the benefit of the people, the NATO people, all of us. Make sure that not only do those nations, G8 nations or whatever you want to call them, or 7, have the resources to make sure that all of their people can pass the survival challenge, that they got food, clothing, and shelter as they deem necessary, that they have education and health care as required to be the best that they can be, to extract from the resources of the given geographics, to produce and, my friends, create goods and services that not only their jurisdiction, but the jurisdiction of the United Nations, the jurisdiction of our NATO allies, can all be felt in the people of these places. How else do you think we can defeat a nation like China? How else do you think we can defeat a nation like Russia? And they are all on the tumbling side, and they're trying to draw everybody else down so they can be dictators over you, the people. And I'm going to tell you, if you were at home with your parents when you were growing up, you prayed for the day that you can get from under that dictatorship and become your own person. It's the same thing today. You pray to get from under anybody that's trying to take your liberty away. And the only way is for you to guarantee it to yourself by guaranteeing it to everybody else with a comprehensive plan in place to make sure that every individual who is employable have a career of their own choosing. They were given that by the designer, that it will give them the greatest joy in life. Doing what you were made to do give you the greatest joy in life. It's not just playing sports, basketball, football, or baseball, or singing, or dancing, or playing music. Those are not the only gifts where you can have great joy. You can have great joy in vacuuming, great joy in digging ditches, in creating infrastructure, in being a janitor, in being a dishwasher, a cook, a farmer. Anything that you were made to be gives you the greatest joy. The hell come out of it when you're forced to do something else that you don't like doing just for a little taste of money that will keep you crippled. So let us look at that, ladies and gentlemen. And let us take away that crutch. Let us take away that crumbling block, and let us stand up. Now, this is what I'm saying for the United States of America. This is what I'm saying for our allies and all peaceful people, God-fearing, loving people. Even though you're claiming yourselves as that, the reality of it is that there are other steps to be met that brings out what we claim. And we haven't done that. So I'm taking opportunity to propose that we do that. No need of letting people destroy you. We've come a long way. We've come a very long way. So we don't have to tumble back down because people reject God, because people reject the spirit of truth. We don't have to tumble back down and say whoever has the biggest hand, whoever has the biggest gun, the biggest bomb, the biggest planes, the biggest mouth. We don't have to give in our life to that. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that all of that can be destroyed by nature itself. You don't have to lift a finger. It can be made useless just in a moment's notice. So put your eyes on the prize. Put your eyes on something that's bigger than all of that. Put your, and when I say put your eyes, I'm kind of stretching it a little bit. It is very difficult for you to do that. But there are those who have been touched and given evidence of the existence of God. They don't have to tell you about it because you would not believe it anyway. But let them stand on the principles that they themselves and they themselves alone really know. When a man has had his eyes that could never see from birth open, what reason does that man now have to walk in the footsteps of people who are still blind? When a man or a woman who have never been able to hear have their ears open and now they can hear the wind, the birds singing, and even the crackling of the lightning. What excuse can they use now from stumbling in things that have been made so obvious, like the train coming, the cars blowing their horn? What excuse do they have? You don't have an excuse, but you do have a responsibility in love. Your responsibility is to put up something that would allow the people to know that the trains are coming, that it is raining outside. We are the ones who are supposed to shape society, those who God has touched. Don't worry about the mass number of people in churches. They don't know any better. Their leaders don't know any better. But it is the responsibility of those who had a plane to crash and everybody died except them. It is the responsibility of those who have survived drowning situations when everybody else was in that situation drowned. It is those who are out on the battlefield and thousands of their comrades were shot down while the bullets went over their head. It is their responsibility to stand up and say there is a God. And by the fact that I'm here today, evidence that there is a God. And it's not a devil on the face of the earth that denies God that will pull me down. And I'm going to do everything I possibly can to hold you up. And if I can't hold you up, if I do fall, it'll be because the Lord God Almighty says, my good and faithful servant, well done. Come on home and leave it to those to go alone. I'm speaking to you, ladies and gentlemen, about those things that are essentially necessary for the truth to be made known. Now I ask you to make me the senator of the state of Minnesota, preaching this message. I stand behind the progressive move of policies from the people of the state of Minnesota and what role Minnesota plays in the national element. In Congress, my control issue is what I'm saying to you here today. To speak this across the Congress and to speak it on a stage where the nation can hear it. And try everything I possibly can to influence them enough till they want to change and go across that hill. And they just want to move on beyond where we're at. and make me president of the United States so that I can electrify NATO and all of our alliances to think about their people. Forget government, absent people. We're talking about people. We're talking about whoever calls themselves elite, and we're talking about the bombs on the street. We want to lift them all up to experience heaven. And because we accepted a spirit that was of love and that kicked out all this ugly, devilish stuff that we've learned all our lives. This is what the future is about. And I'm asking you, the American people, I'm asking people all over the world right now to start considering the change that we're going to make. Either we're going to go over the hill and experience heaven on earth, or we're going to go down that hill and experience hell on earth. And I can tell you right now, those that's working on hell on earth, they are not resting. They are going at it every inch they can pull up. And all that is happening, as I can see it, is the people who say they love God being dragged down. But this, my friends, is a challenge to you to let you know that God is not dead, God is not asleep, and God has people out here that knows God. And I'm calling on you to give you some encouragement. Wake up. Wake up. You don't have to go along with the devil. You don't have to go along with evil. You can stand up on your own. And let me promise you this. If you stand up on your own, all of a sudden, the moment you make the decision to stand up on your own, you will begin to recognize all kind of freedom and liberation that attaches to all those other free people and liberations of other people all around you. And you will see empowerment by the Spirit of love. Now, having said that, I want you to know I'm a write-in. I will not be on the ballot. Republicans can't stand me. Democrats can't stand me. But it's not about them that I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to reach you, the people. Until next time, bye-bye.